So why is the variable speed limit deployed? What you'll see here are three different reasons: speed harmonization, end of queue warning, and weather and visibility advisories. So speed harmonization, that's a strategy that smooths out the traffic stream to minimize and eliminate unpredictable stop and go conditions. The second is going to be the end of queue warning, which alerts drivers to upcoming abrupt changes in traffic conditions. And the third is weather and visibility, which alerts drivers to upcoming changes in travel conditions on the roadway. And if you look at this map, you can see many places throughout the nation where they've implemented very similar variable speed limits for a few different reasons here, but all doing the same with the same hope in effect. Next slide. Here's an image of one out in Las Vegas, Nevada, which is on I-15. If you look to the right, there is that 65 mile per hour. That one is used for speed harmonization. Next slide. Here's an example of one out in Washington on Interstate 5. This is for HOV lanes, so they're used to vary speeds in multiple lanes. Next slide. And here are some other examples. One out in California, which is looked at as an advisory sign for potentially a work zone or something along those lines. We have the one out on I-77 in Virginia, which is due to weather, which is a full LED display. And the one on the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel on the very right here, which is for the congestion out in that area. Next slide. So what is this going to look like in the Fredericksburg region? So between the 115 and the 130, this is what you could see at any given time where you drive up on these speed displays. So if you look to the left and to the right of the three lanes, this is, again, going to be in the northbound section. You've got the 45 mile per hour in this case, which has the flashing light above it. These will be at 24 different locations throughout that corridor between the 115 and the 130. These are roadside signs with flashing beacons every 6/10 of a mile. They have battery backups in case the power was to go down. They can run up to 24 hours, and they get the highest priority when we talk about maintenance out in that corridor. So also you have what is the radar vehicle detectors. So these are to detect speed, volume, and give us data so that we can change that speed. And give you data 15 miles up the road so that we know what's going on, and the computer will adjust those speeds so that it will cue that traffic and send it into that next area at a lower speed, so they're not all going into it, running into the back of it all at once at high speeds. And then the last, we have some additional cameras, which are also used for surveillance. You see them on 511. So we'll be getting 6 additional cameras through this corridor. Next slide. This is probably my favorite slide because this shows you everything that's going to be between the 115 and the 130. So as you approach, coming northbound from left to right, you will come up to a variable message sign. And this sign will let you know that you are entering a variable speed limit zone. And what we found, that tells the motorists why. When we talk about if this is going to work or not, it will work if people understand what they are coming into. And if they don't understand, they're less likely to obey. So when we talk about the most important things with this variable speed limit, it is education and enforcement. So this is educating people as they come through the corridor. Studies have shown, like I said, that they are more likely to comply when they understand the reason why. Since we're going to be asking drivers to reduce their speed limit before they can actually see the reason visibly, these message signs will help provide the rationale and hopefully encourage compliance. As I mentioned, there are 24 signs throughout this 15-mile segment. There are 4 existing cameras, and we are adding 6 more. You can see the dark cameras, the ones that we are adding, and then over to the right we have some existing grayed out cameras. We are adding 2 more changeable message signs, one at the 115 and one just after the 126. And then additionally, all entry and exit ramps will have static signs that will let you know you are entering or exiting a variable speed limit zone. Next slide. So this one gets a little busy, but ultimately, in summary of this slide, we are consistently collecting data from the radar that is out there. Every 30 seconds, it's sending data to our systems and continuously going through that algorithm so we understand what the speed limit needs to be as you approach the zone and progress through the variable speed limit zone. Next slide. So for the corridor expansion strategy, as with everything, we're going to be managing and reviewing operations in this corridor from day one. But after the system's been operational for 9 to 12 months, we're going to kind of evaluate before and after performance. And the things that we're going to be looking at are crash rates, congestion hotspots, severity and duration of congestion, weather and visibility impacts, available capacity for increased throughput. These are all the things that we're going to be looking at through this corridor, and really, depending on how this, when we look at the benefits in this variable speed limit, this is something that we could be using all up and down the I-95 corridor. So we will be monitoring very closely.